What's up, 49er fans? I'm Jason Aponte. A lot to talk about. The 49ers are 3-0. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Inc., multi-year extensions, and what really happened last night and the discussion around it. Stick around. Welcome, everybody. Let's go, Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. All right, guys, I'm Jason Aponte. As always, make sure you're liking this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. This is a call-in show. I have it, pretty loose. We're gonna have a nice discussion. I mean, the team's 3-0, right? Let's make sure we talk about that. The team's 3-0, and the link right there is in the comments. If you want to call in, we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. But before I get to any of the callers, I just kind of want to address some of the things that have come out after the game. So the 49ers on Thursday night, they win by 18 points. But there is a large growing discussion that makes it seem like the 49ers not only didn't win, they lost, or there's, this like idea that you need to be concerned. Nothing's ever perfect. I want to give a shout out to the Giants and the way that they came out and tried to put pressure on Brock Purdy and tried to make him get rid of the ball quickly and, put him in a position where he was uncomfortable. But as you saw as the game went along, I think the Giants' biggest mistake was continuing to blitz. And what I mean by that is it's not about the pressure. It's just if you know the pressure is coming, then you can dial it up and get rid of it. For me, it's like if you bring guys to the line and drop them back out and throw some confusing looks at Brock Purdy, that could possibly be more damaging than you just blitzing because Kyle Shanahan caught on to that. Now, I stated last night in the postgame show that I believe that a lot of teams are going to lift some of that strategy to try to slow down the 49ers offense, whether it be just straight up blitzing a lot or, mixing it up. There's certain teams that are not going to need to send 6 guys every time. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. They'll be able to send 4 and get there with 4. But the idea that the Giants kept on just blitzing, I believe out of his 34 dropbacks, I think it was like 5 or 6 weren't blitzed. When you know what's coming, when you know that they're blitzing, you're going to be able to get rid of the ball. You're going to call plays that are conducive to that. That was the Giants' biggest mistake because I think they did a good job of forcing Brock to get rid of it quickly and playing very tight on the corners. At the corners and their coverage. But when you know it's coming, you know it's coming. And I think that was their ultimate downfall, was they believed that they could just do this all night. And it's not going to be that way. Against any team, let alone Kyle Shanahan. Once he sees little by little that you are just going to keep doing this, you're going to keep showing 6, you're going to send 6, you're not dropping anyone else back, you're not changing anything up. That's when you kind of see the progression and how the team is going to end up picking you apart. And Brock was really good at that at the end of the game. Early on, it got to him a little bit. You could see him being a little bit, I don't want to say hesitant, but definitely rushing throws and putting it in places of, where they're turnover worthy. But at the same time, you can't argue with how much better he got. Now, if you want to make the argument, hey, well, that's the New York Giants. He can get away with that against them. Will he be able to get away? I don't know if he'll be able to get away with some of those throws against the Eagles, the Cowboys. But it wasn't the Eagles and the Cowboys that he played. He played the New York Giants, and he ends up with his greatest passing day, which is like ironic, right? Like for everybody saying, well, this is his worst game, or, this is what I saw. Ends up with his best passing yard day. And the 49ers won and took care of business with a large spread. I think they were 10.5-point favorites. They finished by 18. So it's a little interesting to see how this game has been digested even 24 hours later. Or, I don't know, I guess the game started 24 hours ago. But it's just an interesting exercise in what are you placing emphasis on and what can you deduce from what you saw. What you can say is the Giants came out with a hell of a game plan, which the 49ers weren't exactly ready for. And what else you can say is that Brock Purdy got better throughout the game. And I just think honestly, it's an 18-point win against a team that they should have beaten by 18. Football's 4 quarters. It's a cliche. The 49ers are a complete team. They're going to play a complete game. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts after watching the film, after going over it again. Sure, some of the throws are concerning because they're like thrown right into the teeth of coverage or into a defender's arms. but those are still incompletions. And Brock still finds a way to bounce back. He took a lot of hits. He stood in there. He delivered the football. I'm not sure what else you could ask of the young man. So we're going to have to sit and stew on this one for about like 10 days. That's the next time the 49ers play against the Arizona Cardinals. But for me, I don't feel anywhere near the panic that is like set in or the angry discourse around this game more than anything. Shout out to Javon Kinlaw, who's hooping. He leads the team in pass rush win rate in true pass sets per PFF. It's quite a turnaround for the young man. It's such a development in having him in the second rotation of defensive linemen. Whew, my goodness, man. And Javon Hargrave, welcome to the party again. And Nick Bosa, good to see you, man. But you know, 49ers defense was what it was. It's tough to go out there without Saquon Barkley, but they did their thing. And for me, it's just, again, it's hard to be upset with anything. Again, trends are trends, concern is concern. Outright panic doesn't seem right. But when we were looking at the schedule, the 49ers were going to be 3-0, right? With these first three teams, they're 3-0. And they've scored 30 in each game. They're averaging 30 points. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. This team scores 30 every game. There's not a team in the league that can beat them when they put up 30. Not a team in the league. So, obviously, the other big news is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch signed an extension, and that's kind of funny because there was a lot of discussion about, oh my God, you know, the Trey Lance trade. This is going to be what gets them out the door. Well, Jed York seems to have learned from his time with Jim Harbaugh. No reason to mess around. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch going to be here. I think the biggest concern or question is, where does this leave Adam Peters? I think this firmly puts Adam Peters in a general manager position next year somewhere else. I don't know if perhaps there's it's been speculated John Lynch to VP, Adam Peters to GM. But I do want to ask people that have this sentiment, do we know for a fact what picks are whose? Because Adam Peters loves Ambry Thomas and loved Ambry Thomas. I'm just going to leave it at that. What does that mean? Right? And it's always assumed that the picks that are misses are John's and the picks that are hits are Adam Peters. We don't know. We don't know. That's always going to be my biggest thing is the speculation about whose pick is whose and who deserves what. Until somebody writes the book about this regime later on, 10, 15 years, 20 years down the line, we're never going to know. So I just think it's funny. You know, Adam Peters is responsible for this draft pick. Do you know that for sure? Do you know that for sure? Because I know for a fact he loved Ambry Thomas. The pick's not looking so hot. And it was a third-round pick. Not looking so hot. But it was and it's been widely reported that he was a big Adam Peters guy. I'm good with the speculation. So we got two callers. I'm gonna start with Keith first, and then I got Lester San Jose in here as well too. So let's get into it. Keith, what's up, buddy? Longtime supporter of the channel. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm great. How you feeling? What do you want to talk about?
Man, a couple things, I guess. I won't keep you too long.
No, do your thing, man.
I've been a 49er fan since 1988.
Uh-huh.
I think this is our best team since 1994.
I love it. Talk about it. I had a discussion with someone that's in my area who is also, here. Obviously this Giants game was personal to us. Kind of we're walking around poking our chest out. And he sent me a message saying, I don't know what it is about this team, but I feel it. Like it's the team that like I kind of feel it. And I just said, you know what? I don't blame you because there is those kind of feelings.
Right. And it looks like everybody else right now, to your point, is getting bitten by the injury bug, and that's usually us.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. For now. But I just remember Ricky Waters, Brent Jones, Jerry Rice, John Tate, and those are the kind of skill position players that I would compare this to. I believe after the '94 season, we lost Ricky Waters to Seattle. But
Charles Haley, let's see, Charles Haley, Ken Norton. I mean, and then you bring Dion.
Davis Stubblefield.
You bring Dion.
Merton Hayes.
Yep. I mean, damn.
Eric Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on. And then
Timmy
offensive line was stacked.
Yeah,
too. So, um, yes, I'm feeling 1994 vibes very much.
I like it.
Oh, I meant to bring this up. Hey, I was the Justin Fields guy with you. I think we're in a good position without him. Just seeing some of the stuff he's going, and it could be Chicago. You never know,
Yeah.
but kid didn't help himself out with some of the comments he made this week.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we, I don't know if you checked out the show with Brad and I. Brad and I were big Justin Fields guys too.
right,
It's a multitude of things that are going on with him, but he's not helping himself. And at some
right.
point, you can't just blame coaching. You
Other
can't just
people. That's right,
right, yeah,
and that's
So
just a
it's
life lesson. Period.
yeah, yeah. It's right now it's not looking good, man. It really isn't. I mean, when you watch the tape, there's guys running wide, right into each other, same
Right.
exact same exact route tree. The play call is awful. The no design runs is baffling. All of those things can be true, but it can be true that Fields hasn't helped himself at all, especially with these comments lately.
Right. Also, I'm to your point. We're scoring 30 points a game, and I really don't feel like we've played a full
Oh
offensive
no,
game yet
oh
and
no,
put everything together.
they haven't.
And
They
so
haven't.
that's dangerous. And
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't feel any panic at all. Like, what should we be worried about?
Yeah.
Um, the number one thing I worry about every game is coming out with health.
That's
I
it.
feel like home field advantage is very much on the radar for us. I'm looking forward to that week 5 showdown with Dallas, of course.
That's the
And
one.
I don't know if you remember Star Trek, right? Um, they had the enemy or the villain called the Borg. You remember the Borg?
Yep.
So you could shoot the Borg one time and it would hurt it, but if you tried to shoot the Borg again, you couldn't hurt the Borg with the same shot or same weapon, right? I
Okay.
look at Brock Purdy as like the Borg. I've really never seen him make the same mistakes multiple times or not correct something from like last game. And if you don't pick him off, he's not. He did put the ball in harm's way a few times last night.
Hmm.
And to your point, I think a lot of that had to do with them dialing up all those pressures where they blitz 80-some% of the time or something like that. But
Yeah,
once he got the
I think it
half,
was 5 dropbacks that he wasn't blitzed on last night. That's insane.
that is like that guy's a that guy's a I guess Martindale. He's a adrenaline junkie.
I think he realized that he wasn't going to be able to disrupt them with 4.
Right.
And the idea was, well, let's try to put pressure on him. Let's see if we can turn the ball over. I mean, that pressure even helped Kayvon Thibodeau get into the stat sheet, and he doesn't do anything ever.
That's right.
So a lot of that was just them trying to. Again, I don't think they were wrong, but I think if they would have mixed it up a little bit more and tried to confuse Brock by dropping guys after showing them and sending them back,
Right.
maybe that would have changed things. But if you're gonna blitz and blitz and blitz, Kyle and Brock are gonna see that, and that's
Right.
the way that you beat that.
That's right. I agree. Kittle finally showed up last night.
Oh yeah,
Um, I'm wondering should we rest Ayuk the next game too?
maybe, but it's 10 days. So from what Kyle said after the
Right.
game, that if the game was on Sunday, he would have played.
Okay.
And I do think a little bit of the struggles that we saw were receivers not being able to separate like Ayuk does.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
So I'm not sure that I think it behooves the 49ers to keep Ayuk healthy, but you
Right.
can kind of see, and we love Deebo Samuel. He was incredible in this game, but guys who can't separate away from that press coverage, you're going to start to see those throws where, look, they were still moving the ball down the field, but they had to work for those throws. They had to work
They
for those
did. They
completions.
did.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't easy, right? Like we're used to
It felt
guys,
like everything was contested. That's what
right.
it felt like.
We used to guys just running down the field by themselves, like wide open,
Right.
and Brock just hit it, and not seeing that was a little bit of a shocker. And again, like the Giants came to play. They said, listen, we're gonna press your guys. You have no Ayuk. We feel like we can stick with you. Adoree Jackson's really fast. We feel
Right.
like we can rely on Deonte Banks. And for a little while it worked. But when you continue to do that, and then you can't wrap up, like once you don't have anybody who can cover McCaffrey on those screens, or you let Deebo Samuel get out on those screens, that's when the game gets away from you. So I get that part.
Right.
But I guarantee you there's teams that are looking at that and are saying that's probably our best chance, because you can't sit back in zone and you can't just sit there trying to get 4 unless you have that ferocious pass rush that like the Eagles and the Cowboys have.
Right. What do you think about the Eagles so far? You think they're settling into new coordinators and all that, or
I
what do you
think that's
think is
my
different about them this year?
I think that's my biggest concern is I think the Shane Steichen deserves a lot of credit from,
Hmm.
for what he's done. A ton of credit.
Right.
And I think that that's kind of where you're seeing the struggling happen with Jalen Hurts. It's if you notice, look at how quickly Anthony Richardson looks kind of good, right? They're
Right,
running the
right,
ball with him,
right.
even though he's injured. But look at like he's made some throws. He's making things easy for him. Jalen Hurts seems to be a one read and run guy, and now you kind of saw it in that Vikings game. And early in the game, I was like, "Damn, Brian Flores is dialing it up. He's got it." And then once you can run the ball on Minnesota, it unravels.
It was over. Yeah,
Right,
it
but
was a wrap. Right.
if you can slow down their running backs and force them to throw the ball, that's probably your best recourse with the Eagles. Again, it's only 2 weeks in; they may figure it
Right.
out. But that play caller, he's got me a little bit nervous.
I
Well, not me
agree.
nervous. I'm just saying, like, if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be nervous. I'm not nervous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
it
not.
makes
Yeah.
yeah,
The
doesn't make
good
me
thing about having your head coach being your offensive coordinator is you never lose your offensive coordinator.
100%,
So, and
100%.
a lot of teams with these defensive coaches that end up successful, kind of like Dan Quinn when he was at Atlanta, then Kyle left and he could never get it back rolling. And
Right,
so,
right.
um, I think people a couple weeks ago, TJ Hushmanzada said we need to be more grateful for Kyle and John, and it'll
Oh,
make it a lot easier if we get that sixth one for sure. But
right.
I remember the Tom Sula years, Michael Singletary, Mike Nolan, um,
Pretty much
Chip
everything after
Kelly,
Mariucci.
right? Between Mariucci and Shanahan, you just had the Harbaugh era.
Yep,
That was somewhat glorious.
yep.
Everything else was bad. I started creating content, man. My channel's called Keith Murphy
Go
Unbeaten. I got like
tell him, Keith.
90 subscribers, just getting
Tell him, Keith.
started.
Make
So,
sure so put it in the comments. Make sure that you put the channel in the comments. So
okay.
everybody make sure you go and check out Keith's channel as well too. Keith, thank you for tapping in, bro. I got 2 other callers.
Hey,
But
man,
make sure
thank you.
no, but make sure you throw your channel in there real quick, man, and make sure you
Okay.
guys follow Keith and everything as well too. I'm gonna get the Leicester San Jose, and then I got my guy Gammon right after. But thank you, Keith, for joining, bro. Appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. Take it easy.
Later, man. All right, let's get to our second caller. Lester, what's up, man?
Not much. I don't do it on the radio. It's a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Nice. There you go. I love that, man. And I'm glad that you joined the show. What's on your mind, man?
Oh, I don't know. I just find people like to use certain doomsday tones when it comes to whatever. And I'm like, or doomsday or like crown them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but my personal litmus is around week 10. I don't know with the 17-game schedule if that's going to be pushed further, but I was a little concerned, but I understood it was a short week, and I saw the effects of that. I guess it's like they only have one real meeting, and then you got walkthroughs.
Pretty much.
And
The thing is this. The thing is this, Lester. I think like how you're talking about like how everything is one extreme or the other. I keep saying this, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Negativity is always under the guise of realism. It's always, oh, I'm a realist though. I gotta keep it real, man.
Right.
I gotta keep it real. I think they look, this, and this. But these 3 games against these 3 teams, I didn't learn anything about this team that I didn't already believe before going into the season. We're gonna find out week 5. We're gonna find out week 13 when they play the Eagles, and we're gonna find out in the playoffs what this team really is. That this team is going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. I'm not worried about things like that. Sure, there'll be a letdown here or there. There'll be a hiccup. It's the NFL. You saw, I think for a little while early on, the Giants were trying to be that hiccup. But in terms of what the 49ers should do against teams that they should beat, I don't learn anything from these games that they beat teams that they should, right? Like we're going to learn against the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to learn when they play the Eagles. We're going to learn when they have to go into a game where they're a little bit banged up. Maybe the Baltimore Ravens game, the Cincinnati Bengals game. Those are going to be games where you're going to learn about that team more than anything. But in terms of beating the Steelers, the Rams, and the Giants, I think we all pretty much could have said that they were going to be 3-0 at this point, wouldn't you say?
More than likely, the one thing that strikes me is they know how to adjust, both the offense and the defense. Particularly when first half it looked a little ugly, it's sloppy. Everything was out of sync, whether it was self-inflicted or just because the Giants were sending so many folks after Purdy. And they made the necessary adjustments. Even on a short week, it's like, what are our blitz beaters? What are our, what do we do to stop the Giants from even advancing the ball?
Right.
I think they're not even up to full speed. So As much as you say we'll learn something about the Niners, I really think we'll learn something about the competition.
That's a good point too. I also think this too. After watching the film, I felt like everything was very basic and vanilla in this game, and I think that Kyle's waiting to really get into the things that are going to be important against the better competition, right? I don't think you need to throw the kitchen sink at the New York Giants. And Brandon Ayuk missing that game, I think it kind of highlighted that he's their best separator. He's their guy that can get the most separation. And at times when there's blitzes, that's why it was funny when we were talking earlier. It's odd to see the 49ers play a game where there aren't guys running wide open like 5-10 yards by themselves and Purdy hitting them. I feel like the Giants did a good job in coverage, and I do think they missed Brandon Ayuk a little bit. He's the best receiver on the team. We love Deebo Samuel. Obviously, we love him, but Deebo's more of a weapon than he is a wide receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a term as a game breaker. However, Debo decides to do it like that. I guess you call it a pitch and catch, and then he just took off.
Yeah, that tunnel screen, just get him the ball and just get out of his way and just throw some blocks for him, man. It's incredible to see. It's incredible to see that play continue to work when you have to imagine in the defensive coordinator's room when they're going through it. They're like, hey, let's watch out for this screen pass to Deebo Samuel. And it's like on 3rd and 15, they literally go right back to it, and he's running for like 30 yards. And it's like, man, I don't know, man. Like, it's almost like when you play somebody in Madden and they have a go-to play. I think that's pretty funny.
And it's interesting because Debo's not. I don't know if I'm fair in saying this, but it would appear Debo's not exactly the route runner Brandon Ayuk is.
No.
But at the same time, he kind of reminds me of a smaller Anquan Bolden.
I think that's very fair, and I do think that Brandon Ayuk is a superior route runner. I don't think anybody will fight you on that in any way. But that's what makes them so interesting as a 1 and 2. Is you have the one guy who can really just route people up, and then you have the guy that when your back's against the wall, you can throw the ball to in a pinch, and he can make something happen. I think we underestimate, because we've seen it so much, his ability with the ball in his hands, and I think a lot of people around the league wish they had a player like that, which is why everybody's trying to find the next Deebo Samuel, right? Like Laviska Shenault and all these other guys. Oh, they're going to be playing the Deebo role. Are they? Will they? You sure? Like, why is it that you guys can't find the other guy? Maybe the guy's just a one of one.
Yeah. The only real question I have is the tight end room. Just because there's a lot there. I don't know if there are the moving parts there were post draft, because I know people are talking about Cam Latu and the other guy, but then you've got the incumbents still pretty much in the 40. I think the 46. It's Warner and Dwelly, and I don't know if it's either that they're saving them or if Kyle is just good with the room he has right now,
Yeah, I mean, look, the Latu thing I felt like was a bit of a reach. I thought Willis, if anybody would have been taken a little bit higher, would have been him. Dwelly lacks blocking, which is why I always push back. Like, I made a joke on Twitter about, someone said, "What do you think about Kyle Pitts? Is he a bust?" And I said, yeah, he's a bust. Send him. I was like, yeah, send him to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick. That'll show him. I was like, he's an absolute bust. And someone in the comments was like, well, he can't block. And I literally wanted to ask him, explain Dwelly, Ross, because he literally, like, he's on the field, he doesn't block, right? Like, he's like a receiving weapon. But Kittle and Warner are the two that I think they really, really rely on. Obviously, when Warner's on the field, that he's not a threat to catch the ball, as we saw in Atlanta. Jimmy puts a laser on him, unfortunately, and he drops it. But with Kittle, I think, again, this is kind of the weird area that Kittle's in, because he makes a ton of money and players and people expect so much production of him. But what he does is so invaluable, and how they want to use him is blocking and everything as well. And he's lost, like, in the shuffle. It's Deebo, it's CMC, it's Ayuk. That's why when you see Ayuk off the field now, all of a sudden Kittle has his game. It's just there's only so many people that can get fed, and thankfully Kittle is one of those guys that just is unselfish and doesn't care. Yeah. He loves to block, right? Like, he loves to do that, and as well too, and he'll take his shots whenever he gets it. Now, if you're a fantasy football player, it's not exactly what you want to hear, but we don't care about that. We want to get wins. We don't really care about it.
Yeah, I'm not too big into fantasy myself.
Good for you. I love that for you. I really do love that for you. Lester, thank you for your call, man. I got to get to my 2 other callers. Appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you watching. And anything else you want to say before you go?
It's going to be a slim pickings as far as what game I want to watch during the open period, if you will.
Oh, you talking about Sunday? Yeah, I think we should all talk about that. Like Sunday, what game do you have your eye on? Me, I don't care, honestly. I'm just gonna be laying on the couch, just enjoying Red Zone, man. I really am.
I don't know because I don't know. I just find the press is trying to find the drama. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think in some ways that Justin Fields' comments are being taken out of proportion.
Okay.
In some ways.
Okay. So the Bears game, you're gonna have your eye on the Bears and the Chiefs. Oh dear, Justin Fields, if there was a time for you to have a bounce back game, this might not be the week, man. But Lester, thank you so much for your call, buddy. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for watching, man. I appreciate you.
No, thank you. Thank you for
All
putting
right.
the good stuff out there, man.
Have a good one, man.
So,
All right. Let's get to my guy, Gammon. What's up, bro?
Man, I really enjoyed Lester. Lester, I know that you said long-time listener, first-time caller, but you really knocked it out of the park. I was feeling the vibe, and I just feel like you were just spot on it. And that's what I love about people who listen for a long time, but they finally get that passion, that energy behind their words. And you just really just spoke a lot about into it. And
the other thing too, Gammon, is like a lot of people have issues like getting in front of the camera and talking, right? Like at times, right? So if it takes you a while to build that up, good, like I like I understand, man. Like it's not easy. It's not easy.
Sometimes the cork has just got to pop right there. But I would just say, you know what it is that a lot of the and I'm going to call myself a fan, right? That watch you and listen to you and you're spot on. But also too, right? It's scary to get on to like an article that you read on Niners Nation, because just like what Lester was saying, people want something that's like drama oriented, right, and then you're just going with just facts or just how you see things.
Right. There's no reason to get all crazy though. You know that, Gammon. There's no reason to like just stir up drama like that.
It's an opinion, but also too, you actually right, if I were to talk about the top 3 people that I watch, right, because there's a myriad of people who try to cover, and I say try to cover the 49ers. And one of the reasons why I do tune in here, listen to you and everything like that is because you actually know what you're looking at, right? It's not you're not just saying something and then hopefully it kind of sticks on Twitter. Then like, let's go race and make a video about that. So that is just something I want to say.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, Gammon. And for you guys that don't know, Gammon is one of my mods, one of my longtime guys that has watched, along with a lot of you guys. So it's good. Gammon, you can catch him sometimes on Croc's show, the call-in show. Like he's on there as well too. He's got a lot of good insights. Gammon, what's on your mind though today? What are we talking about?
Well, actually, I'm going to be honest. As a mod, I can't help but look at some of the comments and some of the things that I kind of wanted to highlight, because one of the things that I always do is I always like to drop some money and some cashola and kind of highlight some of my own comments or my own thoughts and kind of go off of the cuff there. But since we're kind of playing with some house money here, I just thought it would be awesome if we highlighted some of the commenters' comments, kind of bring these people into fold. But I want to take a look at what CB Niners kind of had to say. And he said this: what's our thoughts on all these fights at the games? Why is this happening when we are winning? And so I want to break this into two parts. One, why is this happening with fans on fans? And then number 2, another thing that I haven't seen really brought up and talked about too is Trent Williams's punch too, and because we were clearly winning there. So it's happening on the field in the Gladiatorial Stadium, and then it's happening in the seats. So for CB Niner, if you wouldn't mind kind of addressing that.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't be fighting over sports. And let me be clear, because I have a tendency at times to, be overly aggressive, answering, whether it be on stream, whether it be on Twitter. Right? Me, right? I'm a passionate guy, right? I'm emphatic. But the idea of paying hundreds of dollars to sit in the lower levels to fight and then be banned, it's just look, when you combine the physical nature of the game and the aggression that's needed to play this game, and you combined alcohol with it, and you combined tribalistic fandom, people who would literally do anything for their team, right? And we love that passion, right? We love fans like that. We love that, right? That's part of the reason that we're able to, talk on YouTube and have people tune into us. It still has to come to a point where you're an adult. Is it worth you going to jail? Is it worth you being banned from the stadium, never going to another football game again? Is it worth you going and doing things in front of kids that are just like things that are going to stick in their mind forever? That's the saddest part, I think. When you watch these videos and you see kids standing around and looking, it's hard. I can't get into what's being said because I'm passionate too. If I'm with my significant other, if I'm with my daughter and someone says something that I take offense to, man, I don't know how I'm going to act. If they say something to my daughter, I'm very protective. All I have to do is take care of my daughter. But I've also got to be smart, because if it's just me and my daughter and then something like that happens and they escort me away and my daughter, who's autistic, doesn't understand what's going on, that's the part that you got. Like, there's got to be a balance, man. And it's not worth at all going to jail, being put on this banned list, man. It's just the alcohol, the passion, the aggression, the trash talking, which is part of the fun. But the trash talking should just be just that, man. And as far as Trent Williams, so there's a little history there. There's a history there. Both those guys don't like each other for a long, long time. There's a history between them. That's not something that just started. So that's the interesting part, is everyone forgets. Well, no, and nobody forgets. Not everyone forgets. Nobody forgets in the NFL, right? He knew this game was coming up. So, Trent punched Richard Sherman in the face after the game in Washington. Trent's not afraid to get mixed up in it, man. After the Philly game, you see that kind of thing. All that stuff is true, man. So, look, I'm not going to tell Trent what he should be doing because, good God, that's a massive man. But I'm just glad he got away with it. But he knows. I'm sure he knows that he needs to be smarter than that, because in a game that really matters against a big opponent, like if he does that against Dallas and he gets tossed, oh God, or in a playoff game. So I guess I hope that's a good answer. But the fighting thing with fans, we've got to cut that out. And for as much as we lambast Philly fans for all that stuff, that type of treatment, this is now a preseason game. And I was in the barbershop today. In case you guys didn't know, I got a haircut. I was in the barbershop today, and my barber's Dominican, and they were playing Spanish television, Spanish news television. Spanish news television was running that fight, and they were talking about the fight, and I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there in my 49ers shirt, and they're asking me, and I'm like, dude, that is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing that a Spanish news network is actually covering that fight, and it's gone viral to the point that guy is grabbing that woman by the hair, which, by the way, I got a lot of problems with the people around him that allowed him to do that and didn't do anything about that, because I would have a hard time watching a guy do that to a woman and not step in immediately and make my presence known one way or another. But it's just a shame that a game where the 49ers win 18 points, that's what we're talking about. Like, it's just it's hard, man. Gammon, we got two guys. If you want to get to one of the two of the other comments, I just want to make sure we get everybody in here as well to give them a shot. You're muted, I think.
I did. It was a courtesy mute.
Yep.
So one of the things that I did kind of want to bring up was Gibson said that Wilkes is learning his players, and the players are learning him as well. And I just feel like there's so much onus and so much pressure on this Week 5 game against the Cowboys. But really, I feel like there should be some kind of grace kind of given, because I feel like, people are going like, well, this offense isn't firing off on all cylinders. And, they're not saying that there were 6 players in the box or on the line of scrimmage, and we only have like 5 linemen, this, that, and the other. But when I looked at it, I was going like, well, there's mainstays like D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh who really got to grow within their roles, and then also to grow with these players here. So they really all intrinsically knew each other in and out. So for me, and my question to you is because, it seems like, hey, we're an automatic 30. So the question is like, can we beat a team? Can a team score 30 points on us? And can we score 30 points on them? If we can score 30 points on them, I don't think they can score 30 points on us.
Right.
But what is the week for you where you're kind of going like, hey, this is kind of like where we need to see these things kind of going like dialed in with Steve Wilkes. Actually, you know what? That was a bad question.
No, I think it's a good question. I think it's a good question, actually, because I don't think there's a correct week, right? I think we all have an expectation of when we'd like to see it. I'd love to see it against Dallas, and I'd love to see it against the Eagles. When you really need to make sure you see it, and the way that this team historically has competed towards the end of the year is at the end of the year, right? Because even D'Amico, like early in the game sometimes, right? Like we all were on Twitter last year, fire D'Amico, get rid of D'Amico after a quarter. And then in the second half, all these adjustments. What I was really, I guess, blind to, because I did watch Carolina, but I guess I didn't watch them closely enough. And Croc was the one that pointed this out, is that's very much Wilkes' MO with the secondary. Play everybody back, play some zone, and then you have a front four that can get there. Well, what happens when the quarterback gets the ball out quickly, when the zone is being beat and they have a good game plan? Now you've got to adjust. Now you've got to bring guys up, right? But that is kind of his MO a little bit, like when it comes to that. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that at all. I think what we kind of take for granted is like, well, it's Bosa, it's Hargrave, it's Armstead, it's Jackson. They'll get there. Like, they'll eventually get there. Yeah, but everyone else knows that it's them as well, too. So nobody's calling 5 and 7 step drop backs, right? Like in those things. Now what you're seeing is you are seeing Javon Kinlaw now be the guy that we all hoped he would be. And I think that's the biggest development. That's the thing that I've learned the most, is that I'm so happy about that. That is so great. That is such a development that this young man, regardless of whether he comes back next year or not, he literally, I pulled the stat from PFF. He leads the team in pass rush win rate in true pass sets, 29.7% on 31 true pass sets. That is insane. The play that Daniel Jones, I believe, they went to a 5 down lineman look. By the way, too, Steve Wilkes is very big on that. That's 2 times that he's done that in the same game. 5 down lineman. He breaks through, and Daniel Jones has to run, and Greenlaw was the one that was about to get the sack before Jones flings it. But Kinlaw blew that play up immediately. I do think that the thing that about this defense, and we're talking about with the offense, like, oh, well, we haven't hit, our stride. The same thing with the defense. I don't think the pass rush has exactly been exactly what we thought it would be off the bat, and still can be more. So there are more things like that. It's good to see Oliver making tackles out of the nickel, but personnel is going to dictate how the 49ers run their defense, right? First 2 weeks, you saw no third linebacker because 11 personnel with the Steelers, with the Rams, you got to have a nickel on the field. Well, the Giants don't have that. So you get Oren Burks on the field a little bit more. They are still figuring it out game plan to game plan. And I think that's a little bit, too, that what is a little bit more interesting, especially when they didn't have that nickel set up. So I want to give Wilkes some time. But I'm going to tell you this. Let's just, let me just be a little bit extra, like, how I usually am. This better get done on week 5. Week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Week 5. I don't want to see CeeDee Lamb running around by himself. I don't want to see Brandon Cooks down the field. I don't want to see Tony Pollard running down the field. I don't want to see any of that. No, I don't want to see none of that, Steve Wilkes. Figure it out by week 5. You got week 4 to figure it out, too. Gammon, we got 2 other callers, man. I would love to keep you on, bro. One more? Go ahead. Go. One more.
So this is going to be the last thing that I ask. 3 quick, and you just yay or nay.
Yep.
Magical start, but there needs to be an investigation on all of Purdy's interception drops. Nope. Dude is really lucky. I remember like Kaepernick, he would throw these interceptable drops, but he just threw it so hard it just didn't even matter. Also, too, last one, Greenlaw. Does he play dirty? Is he a dirty player? What's going on?
He just needs to. The things that we love about Greenlaw sometimes get him in trouble. And yesterday I got into trouble for saying that I was just like, and CB9ers, I forgot to make sure I get to this as well, too. I want to make sure I put this up on the screen as well, too. Shout out to him, member for 18 months. I've been around for a bit. Our kicker's real yet? No. It's the short answer. But with Greenlaw, the thing that we love about him is the thing that he kind of has to curb a little bit, because Andrew said this last night, and I think this is the way that everybody should think about it. Whether you believe that was a penalty or not last night, he's lost the benefit of the doubt because of the things that he's done, right? He's right now, the refs are in line with like, okay, he's going to make something, a play after, like something like that is going to happen. And then when he gets called on it, it may not be fair in that moment, but you've lost the benefit of the doubt trying to punch the ball out and like do all these crazy things and like rip people's helmets off from the side. Like Kyle loves it. We love it. That's part of the things that we love about Greenlaw is how hard he attacks. Control it, though. Control that aggression. Control it just a little bit more. Listen, I knew Greenlaw was not all there football-wise when I went to training camp, and he was wearing a velvet do-rag in the middle of the summer. A velvet one, not the nylon one, the velvet one. The velvet one is super heavy on the head. I'm like, this man's built different. This man might as well play football in black Air Forces at this point. That's just how Trey Greenlaw plays, man. There's nothing that you can do about it, but he does need to control it a little bit because if it does happen at a crucial time, I would hate to see this team lose, a game or have a big moment happen because of that. Love you, Gammon. Thank you, bro. Shout out to the Mod Squad. Appreciate you guys, man. We got 2 more callers, man. Uh-oh. Is this a first-time caller? Nope. Dawson, I'm going to get to you in a sec. We got one more person ahead of you. I'm going to get to you in 1 sec. I got you, bro. I got you. Tyler, what's up, man?
How you doing, Jason?
What's going on, bro? Newly married and everything? How's the married life treating you?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great.
Has it?
Yeah.
I'm happy, man. I love that for you, bro.
Yeah, my wife's in Korea, though, so me and her, we're working on getting because she's in the Army. I used to be in the Army myself.
Nice.
And so she had to update her orders to add me, but we obviously just got married, so we.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations, Tyler. I don't know if you guys know, man. Tyler was so dedicated that on his wedding day, he was like tapped into the stream, man. That's insane, man. Like, and we appreciate you. Tyler, what's on your mind though, bro?
To be honest, Jason, I was thinking that this team was going to, how we struggle at the beginning of the year. Be honest, I thought that this team was going to, this might sound harsh.
Yeah.
I thought this team was going to win maybe, if they didn't get this quarterback position fixed, I thought we were going to win 5 wins.
Really? This year?
Yeah, be honest.
Talk about it.
Because I didn't trust Kyle, be honest. And he had a lot to prove to me. And so far, he's showing improvement with 4th down. He's being a little bit more aggressive. Brock is playing phenomenally. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due because I am a Trey guy. Obviously, so even though Trey's now no longer here, but I'm gonna give him credit where credit is due. Brock is playing phenomenally. Even the throw to Debo yesterday was, in my opinion, his best throw in his entire career.
So when I was going through, after and like on Twitter, because I know you're not on Twitter, Tyler, and thank God you're not. Honestly, make sure you stay away from that.
I'm not a social media guy.
Don't do that. But I usually post the next gen stats diagram of the throws, and the throw shows the pocket collapsing on him and him throwing it to the back shoulder to Debo. It's an incredible throw. And then the film comes out this morning, and I looked through it. And my God, that throw to Christian McCaffrey that would have ended up being a touchdown that ended up being incomplete.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I thought by far the best throw was the Debo one. That one might be better, man, and it was incomplete. Like that's the thing. It's like it's concerning, right? You see the throws early on in the game, and you're looking, and you're saying, "Damn, like why is that there?" Okay, but then there's throws like that, and the guy's inflappable, right? And it's just like, man, I don't want to talk crap about Jimmy, because he's so handsome and I low-key miss him a little bit.
Me too. I low-key miss him too myself.
But when Jimmy would throw, an interception or things start spiraling, you felt uneasy. There's
Absolutely.
there's something about Brock that you just you don't feel that, right? Like you're just like, hey, he'll get it, he'll get it, he'll get it. And I think whether that's something that's just brand new because he's only in like his 11th start, that's one thing maybe. But at the same time, man, there's a confidence there with a young guy who hasn't played much that I don't really feel. I didn't feel at the time with him, you know. So I don't know, man. I love you, Jimmy. Love you, man.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So my buddy, going back to a caller a couple minutes ago, my buddy's a Bears fan. I'm at his apartment right now, waiting for a couple months for waiting for my wife. So he was like this: Brock Purdy is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best quarterback he's seen lately.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my friend who's a Bears fan, yes, a Bears fan, ironically, and I'm a huge Ohio State fan. I want Justin Fields, but I'm be honest, he thought that Brock Purdy outperformed Justin Fields.
He has. And I love Justin, man. I did.
Yes.
And I went to the Halloween game where Debo saved the season with that 80-yard screen pass. I was there for that.
Lucky.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good, dude. And Justin was dominating with his legs, man. And I was just like, hey, there it is, you know, like, and I was just like, hey, like, it was a little bit of like confirmation bias, right? I was just like, hey, see what I was saying? Like, he can really run the ball. But it's a combination of the fact that in year 3, the expectations were there that he was going to step up. You get him DJ Moore. You know, you see all of the rushing that he can do and the pressure that he puts. And then the thing is the craziest thing, Tyler. The deep ball. It's just gone. And it was literally the thing that I was just like, my God, Justin was letting it rip in college.
And when he was at OSU, he would throw to Garrett Wilson. He would throw to Chris Olave. He would throw to Jameson Williams.
But bombs. And then, like, he beat the Golden Boy, too. He, like that's the thing. It's like you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, who's a stud. And we know that. Like, you know,
yes,
like,
he is.
But Justin smoked his boots in college. And you're looking at a guy who, like, when he had a rib injury, was hooping and throwing the ball down the field. And that's another thing that I loved about Justin, because we had seen quarterback after quarterback get hurt. I'm like, his pain tolerance is through the roof, and he plays through it. All of those things. But obviously, when Kyle and them were going through their evaluation, like the whole idea of like, oh, we were drawing up plays for Trey after we left Justin, that really pissed me off. But it was clear. But it was clear that they were out on him, like at that way, you know. Gammon says, I'm in the Army as well. Thank you for the support too. I don't know if you see that as well too. And here I'll Tyler, because I got to get to my guy Dawson real quick. Gammon, this is the hard hitting question. Gammon asks, better leader of the Toon Squad, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
To be honest, Michael Jordan.
Easily.
Yeah, and whoever picks LeBron, I'm gonna be honest. I'm from Ohio, and it's Michael Jordan.
Easily. And the other thing, Tyler, is Michael Jordan did need Bill Murray.
Yeah, he did.
So let's make sure we talk about that as well too. Bill Murray had to show up, like right there in that moment, though, at the end to get it done, right?
Oh yes.
Because Wayne Knight tried to show up as Newman, it didn't work, you know, and everything as well. But Bill Murray is the X factor. Bill Murray is the X factor for the Toon Squad.
Yep, he is the X factor.
Chad Wennington carried Jordan. I love it. Somebody with a LeBron. Oh my God!
Oh,
hey
my
Tyler,
goodness.
Appreciate you calling in, my boy. Again, man, thank you for your service. Congratulations on your wedding, man. That's an amazing thing, man. And as always, go Niners, man. We appreciate you tapping in with us all the time, Tyler.
Go Niners.
All right, bro. Take it easy, bro.
You too.
All right, let's go. Where's my boy at? Dawson, what's happening?
Finally getting the excuse not to do homework.
Oh, all right. So this is on me.
What?
Are you gonna blame me? Yeah, exactly. So when it comes in a little bit late and your professor asks, you're gonna be like, well, I was hopping on Jason Aponte's stream.
Well, it's due Sunday, so.
Oh, all right, you got this. But there's an LSU game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or is LSU gonna win?
I don't know. It's for the Golden Boot Trophy, right? So it's basically like if you take Arkansas and LSU, it looks like a boot, so they make a trophy for it.
All right.
For some reason, Arkansas plays like a different team. But
So like Arkansas gets hyped for this type of game.
yes.
So Colorado, you're not watching Colorado Oregon at all?
What time is that?
I think it's like 3 my time, if I'm not mistaken.
LSU's at 6 here.
All right. Oh, so but wait, you're in Louisiana, right?
No, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay, so I think Mississippi might be 1 hour behind because I know Louisiana is still on the East Coast.
Hey, I'll figure some way out to watch.
All right. Hey, what you want to talk about, Dawson? What's happening? You want to talk about a tribal chief?
but anyway, like confidence in a team, right? Like I haven't felt like confidence in a team since like 2019 LSU, right?
Right.
And that took till like November, like 6th, I think, was the Alabama game. Even though they like scored 45 on Texas that year, and it was funny as hell. So yeah, I'm confident in this team, even though it's like 3 games.
Well, that's kind of like I was saying earlier, right? Like I spoke to somebody who's a 49ers fan from our area, and basically we were talking back and forth, and he's just like, "Hey, you walking around talking crazy." And I don't know if you saw on Twitter today, I went to the store to go get a bacon and egg, and I'm wearing my Niners hat, and I hear somebody say, "Go Giants," and I turned and I looked at him, and I was like, Pfft. It was almost like the 50 Cent meme, like where you drive, like he's driving away. I was just like. Like this is gonna be a fun week. But basically, he said kind of the same thing, Dawson. He was just like, I don't know. He said, "Am I being too forward? Am I being too extra?" But I'm feeling the vibe right now. He's like, I'm feeling it. Like this team is special. And I say, hey, look, it is 3 weeks. I hear you if you want to be hesitant. But yeah, man, like we absolutely are feeling it right now at this point.
Yeah, and I just saw a comment that made me laugh.
No, you know what though? Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We're not doing that, bro. Like, I'm gonna give you one warning, RQ. This is probably your first time in here. Chill out on making any sort of jokes on Dawson, anything like that, bro. And I'm not gonna explain why. And I'm telling you right now to relax. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all my Legos and shit.
Yeah, Gammon asked, can we please ask him about the Thor hammer, the tower building next to it, and the medals hanging on his corkboard? Talk about it.
Those, well, I got into Lego to get rid of my stress a lot. Yeah.
Hey,
and yeah, I have a lot of
ain't no
things.
relax, buddy. Ain't no relax on Twitter, not here, not nothing. And I'm not gonna explain why. If I explain it to you, you're gonna feel stupid. So shut the fuck up. Dawson, keep going, buddy.
And all the medals is just Mardi Gras ones that I found were cool. Yeah.
But the Thor's hammer, like, did you have to like make it, or like did you you just bought it like that?
I do. One sec.
Get it. Listen, you can say whatever the hell you want about me, whatever. Like that's it, bro. Like, don't start that shit with Gammon, with Dawson, man. Like that's completely different. And I'm not gonna explain why, but just be kind to people, bro. Like relax, man. Just relax. That's all I'm gonna say.
It lagged on my side.
Nah, you're good though. You're back though.
Yeah. So it does.
That's all Legos.
Yeah. Let me. It's not this side, but yeah, here it is. Yeah, you put something in here. Yeah.
Oh man. So wait. So when you buy it as the set without it being built, and then you got to build it.
Yeah, like instructions and all that.
But still, though, like you still have to have patience to do that.
Yeah. It's a good stress reliever.
I hear you, man. All right. One question I want to ask you. If you had to pick something that concerns you about this team, even though vibes are immaculate, all-time high, we just beat the shit out of those bum-ass Giants.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that you're a little bit worried about, or you at least like to see addressed with this team?
Offensive line, right tackle.
Okay, talk about it.
Like I know, like trusting a dude worked last year for center with Jake Brendel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it with right tackle in the same sense.
Well, I'll say
You
this.
probably could have used a 3rd-round pick on a right tackle.
Listen, I didn't say that, you did, but okay. I mean, sure. Hey, listen. I had this crazy idea, Dawson, of using picks on football players that could possibly help you. But hey, what the hell do I know, right? Jake Moody's making all the kicks, so whatever. Who cares? But no, realistically, this is the thing: is when everyone always says like, "Oh well, just trade for one." This is the part that Brad and I always push back on: is linemen are such a commodity in the league that who's giving up linemen? Who's trading linemen? Who's just saying, hey, man, we don't need him. He's no good. You can have him. There's literally 31 other teams that are going through those sort of struggles where they've got like 1 or 2 holes on their offensive line, and they have to game plan around that every single week. Like, that's the thing. Is like, I hate this idea of, well, if McKivitz doesn't work out, you can trade for someone. Why would someone trade what seems to be the most scarce level of like talent in the league and reliability in line, Dawson? That's the part that like bothers me. So it's kind of like you have to kind of make this work now, and you have to find a way to get it done. The only thing, this is what I'll say, the only thing that keeps me fine, like, the only thing that keeps me fine about this is Tom Compton. Tom Compton played for a long time at right tackle, and he was largely awful before. And people were even saying, "Hey, he might be better than McGlinchey, or he might be better." But when you scheme around it and you're able to play to people's strengths, I do think it is week 3, and I am, maybe I'm feeling the juice and I'm feeling the vibes after 3 wins and we're 3-0. Maybe I'm just feeling it. Maybe he'll come into his own a little bit, right? Today I got a tweet that said it came across. Colin McKivitz had a clean sheet. And I said, this is why we got to start watching the games. Yeah. We got to start watching the games, man, because there's a lot of unclean things. Sure. If you let a blocker get by and it stops Christian McCaffrey for a 1-yard loss, that's not a sack. That's not a pressure. Yeah. But you're missing a block. And I hear you, man. Like I said, after the first 2 weeks, I was a little bit more worried about Spencer Burford. Because I expect more from Burford. Last year, they were flipping in and out with, him and Brunskill. Brunskill ain't walking through that door though now. So now, like, I expected him to be that guy. I think everybody, if they had to pick something that they were worried about, it would be the right side of the offensive line. Because Brendel across, even though Brendel and Banks didn't get graded well by PFF, whatever. Even though that happens, the middle to left, you feel fine. Yeah. But the other 2 is where you're a little nervous, and I think you're spot on with that. Yeah. The tower building next to it. What's the tower building next to it? That's just a bunch of Legos, right? You said?
The Daily Bugle.
Oh, nice. So that's where Peter Parker gives J. Jonah Jameson his photos. Yeah. And then the medals, you said they're all from Mardi Gras. Yeah. And I got like a bunch of Lego helmets. Dude, you know what's funny?
Gauntlets.
Yeah. Is I covered my first Senior Bowl. I think I want to say 3 years ago during the pandemic. Yeah. And when we're driving through, it's got all the Mardi Gras stuff through it, and the Uber driver's like, Mardi Gras started here. And I'm like, not in New Orleans? And no, it is in Mobile. And they have like a whole big parade during that time with the Senior Bowl too. So that's something I learned as well too. Let's see. Kevin with another donation. Cheese and Terradome apologies. We as mods misclicked. Ariel's driving. I have no excuses. I just fat fingered. Yeah, Terradome shouldn't be timed out, anything like that. Terradome, I'm sorry, or anything like that. Cheese, I told you, bro. Like, just be a decent human being. I don't have to explain why. Just relax, man. Just relax, bro. And if you can't be civil, if you can't be a good person, any of that, then that's when we're gonna get you out of here. Again, I'm not gonna tell you why you shouldn't talk about like that about Dawson. This is very personal for me myself as well too. But I'm telling you right now, everybody chill out. We're talking football. Chill out. Everyone chill out. That's it. Dawson.
Yeah, just a bunch of cool stuff back here.
Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of pop figures as well too. Hold on, let me show off my shit too, man. Since you stunting on me and everything as well too, man.
Well, I have
Like,
one thing that can't be shown because
what's
it's on
that?
the bottom shelf.
What is it?
One sec.
Get it. All right, I'm gonna get. You know what? I'm gonna get my most favorite and limited edition pop figure as well too. I got you, bro. All right, my bad. I'm sorry again, Ariel. If it's RQ, whatever it is, it's just regardless. Just be a good person, bro. That's it, man. That's all I ask, man. That's it. All right. What's on the bottom? I'm sorry, Cheese. Again, apologies, Cheese. That's my fault.
This is gonna take 2 seconds, but first.
Go. Is that a lightsaber?
Yeah.
Which one?
Is it the double video game?
Oh, wow. And I love the shirt too, the Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah, I got like 5 of these when Spider-Man came out.
All right, so I had to put down Derek Jeter real quick. This is like one of those Todd McFarlane ones that I've got here.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably my most valuable pop figure. It's a limited edition Miles Morales. It was a Foot Locker. Oh my God, man! Forget this. I'm putting this away, dude.
I got a lot of them. I don't have time to show them all.
No, dude. All right, so I'll just show my little bum ass pop figure that I was gonna show you. This is a Miles Morales, Foot Locker exclusive from Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, the original. They only put it out at Foot Lockers, and there's only so many that have been made. And when I had my last job, because I stopped working during the pandemic and I became a full-time content creator, whatever it is that you want to call it. That's how I make my money now. I worked for Lids as a district manager, the hat store. And I went into the Foot Locker next door at one of the malls that I was attending. And this is sitting on the top of the register. And I realized that it was limited edition. And I said, "What is that?" And he was like, "Oh, somebody returned this." And I said, "Give it to me right now so I can walk out of here with it." There's only a certain amount of them. That's why you see the little Foot Locker exclusive thing on there. And that's how I ran into this one. And this is my most prized possession as far as all of my this top one. This top one is all it's 3 rows of only Batman pop figures. And I have the entire Batman the Animated Series pop figures from 1990, all of that. On top of here, that's a what is it? The Bud Light can for every team. So it's the 49ers one. I've got the George Kittle pop up there. There's a 49ers helmet. In this box right here is all 5 Super Bowl rings replica. So that's
Oh, I have something cooler than a Funko Pop one.
That's all the cool stuff.
Well, this one is from when the Star Wars land opened at Disney.
Okay.
And then I got something better than a pop.
Cheese, one more time, bro. I wanted to say I'm sorry, man. I completely got that wrong. I apologize, man. Don't sometimes I get it wrong. But go, show me this one real quick, and then this is the great question for you. I love that white helmet. Who signed that? Patrick Willis. All right, you know what? Real quick, take this and then look. I'm gonna ask you this too, and then I want the chat to jump in. And then we've been on for an hour, by the way. Shout out to everybody in here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Gammon is asking, who's your favorite wrestler of all time? Mine is Rey Mysterio. What about you?
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. Talk about it.
I watched a lot of TNA. And he was Mr. TNA. And then he went to New Japan. Well, not all time, but like right now, he needs. Okay. But yeah, watch AJ Styles win X Division championships, then World Championships, then went to the WWE at 40 and still put on banger matches. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. I want to ask you this. I love Patrick Willis, right?
Yeah.
I love Navarro Bowman. I had both of their jerseys. Funny enough, I have 3 linebacker jerseys. Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Dawson, when do we start getting into the discussion of whether Fred Warner is the best of all of them?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Chat, let me know. Chat, let me know. And by the way, my favorite wrestler of all time is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
But I will say, when the 75.
Hold on. I think you're lagging there.
Yeah, I immediately bought a Fred
you go.
jersey.
Is that a Fred? Oh yeah. So I've got my 52.
Yeah.
I believe that I went on Fanatics one day and they had like the Vapor 53 jersey, like the one that's like the closest to being the legit one, and it was like $34 or something like that on clearance. I couldn't believe it. Like I ran and bought it. And then I bought the 54 because I was like, man, who's gonna be here, right? Like we didn't know. Is Debo gonna sign? Is Kittle gonna be gone? I was just like, man, you know what? I think 54 is gonna be here. He signed the deal. I got the 54 with the but when do we start talking about Fred being better than all of them?
Probably when he gets the
right when you were about to say something, Dawson. It feels like you just cut out real quick. Oh no. All right, we'll wait for Dawson to get back. Yeah, there you go. I see you now. I see you now. You're good now. Say again.
Yeah, when he wins a ring.
When he wins, well, neither of those guys won a ring, Dawson.
Maybe longevity. There we go. Longevity.
That's it. I think that's where we are, right? Like when you look at it, right? And the thing is Patrick didn't stay around forever, right? Navarro didn't stay around forever. Like, and it wasn't like in long term, like, you know, like Zach Thomas has played way more, and Zach Thomas is in, which, by the way, in no world, in no multiverse, in no football field that has ever been, Zach Thomas has never been better than Patrick Willis in nothing. None. But longevity does have to do with it. But I just think, like, when you look at Fred and you watch him carry CeeDee Lamb all the way up the field, like, and he's tipping balls. I mean, obviously a converted safety, so we have to like talk about that. But yeah, man, like, I think it's very fair to talk about Fred being that guy, like right now. Like, I think it's very fair. I won't be mad at anybody that says he needs to do a little bit more. For
and like an interesting thing with like linebacker play, right? So LSU has a freak of nature at linebacker named Harold Perkins, right?
Right.
Gonna be like an absolute stud, and like, but he isn't like a true linebacker, even though he should be one. And like he's like mini Micah Parsons. That's how I describe him.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like a more of a hybrid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like for Florida State, he tried to play as a regular linebacker, and he's a better athlete than Fred Warner. I will say that, but like he can't be a linebacker like Fred Warner.
Okay, I hear you. So, Dawson, tell everybody where they can find you, because you do great content for the 49ers for LSU. Let everybody know where they can subscribe to your stuff, man. You guys should absolutely be subscribed to Dawson, to Keith, to everybody that is in here that is trying to put themselves out there and make content. Everybody deserves love. I think you guys underestimate how hard it is to get in front of the camera, how hard it is to talk all the time about this stuff. I think you underestimate all that stuff. So everybody deserves recognition.
You see, I pre-record all my content just for that reason.
It's still hard. It's still hard to do that. You putting yourself
usually
out
that is
there,
still like 5 takes after.
You still have to put yourself out there. That's the thing. And when you put yourself out there, you leave yourself open to criticism and people saying things. And that's a lot, you know, like that's a lot to put out there, right? Like that's probably a lot of people have the drive to try it, to do it. But that's the hard part, is like being able to like it's hard to look in the comments sometimes. You know how many times I look in the comments, Dawson, and they're like, Jason's a fucking bozo, or like,
Yeah,
oh
but
my, I can't believe.
you,
Yeah, I
you know
had
what
to look at
sometimes
it
is
and
a
keep
harder
moving.
thing? Like looking at just 0 views sometimes on a
So
video.
and look, that's fair too, right? Like again, everybody starts somewhere, right? And that's the thing is when I first started the channel and Andrew and I started, I'll never forget. We did the Washington preview in 2020. We had
Yeah.
like 11 viewers. 11,
Yeah, yeah.
right? We did our post-game show last night and we're well above. We blew through 3,000 views, like easily. But that's 2020 to 2023. Everybody kind of sees where you are and they say, well, that's what I want immediately. Nobody sees the beginning part when you first start, right? Like when we first started, if you're not doing this for the love, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Because if you're doing it for views, you're going to be disappointed to
I
start.
freaking love
That's the
talking.
thing. That's the thing. If you love it, then that's what's going to bring everything as
Am
well.
I a nervous wreck when I talk? And sometimes my hand shakes when I do it. Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah. But I love
yeah,
it, bro. I love it, man. Continue to keep growing, man. Continue to keep working. Don't stop. As long as you love it, that's it, bro. Like that's the best thing, Dawson. Tell them again where they can find your stuff. And Gammon, he says, big on you for putting yourself out there and standing on your word. Nobody puts their face to their words. Thank you for being you. Dawson's the fucking man, bro. Dawson, you're an OG. I don't think anybody knows really, right? Like, you know how you know you're an OG, bro? Before there was Twitter Spaces, during the year that we were trying to figure out who the pick was it Mac? Was it Justin? Was it Trey?
Yeah.
Clubhouse was where we used to cook, right? Those were the real Twitter Spaces, right? It would be 10 to 13 of us, and we would all be in there giving our thoughts. It was great, man. I thought, and for you to jump in there, I thought that was your great first step, man. And you always had good points. It was good for you to join, man.
Don't really like Twitter Spaces that much, though.
Twitter's a cesspool, man. But I will say this: your gift game and your meme game is incredible. I stole one of your memes as well too. It's Spider-Man, and he's like, I'm gonna need a ton of therapy. And I was just like, I'm waiting to like fire this one off, like whatever it is. Hey, Dawson, I'm gonna let you get out of here, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Tell him one more time.
Like write the channel name. Oh well, it's Dawson Richard. Richard spell like Richard. I get it. It's a weird, but it's French, so who cares?
Yeah. Dawson, what you should do is real quick. I'll stay on for a little bit longer because I put the link in here. See if anybody else wants to jump on. Put the link in the chat. And have people join that way, man. So, shout out to Dawson Richard. Appreciate you, bro. Always good to see your face, man. Always good to talk with you as well, too, bro. But I'm gonna let you go, man. Let's go Niners though. Let's fucking get this done, right? All right, buddy. Hey, shout out to everybody. We're about an hour, 15 minutes in. Make sure you're liking this video, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. The content's going to be a little slow this weekend, unless you guys want me to do a fantasy football thing, or maybe underdog promo code Aponte. We can make some money this weekend, even though, man, I knew George Kittle was going to have a good game, but I thought he was going to score a touchdown, man. And he just, he let me down, man. So, but look, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, not going anywhere for a long time. You got to get used to it now. I think Jed York has learned a little something about trying to move on from people, trying to move on from people too quickly. Let's see. Gold Dirty Bastards. Willis to me is better than Warner, better tackler and blitz. When you look at their tackle averages per year, Willis has a pretty good lead. Yeah, I mean, I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair. And the thing is you're not wrong in any way that you feel about this. And that's just a testament to how good Fred is, how good Willis was, how good Navarro was. So you're not wrong. Like nobody's wrong right now. I think what we're kind of saying is it opens the discussion, and I think the discussion should be had at least. And I think that's the part that's what makes Fred so good, that we're even having a discussion about this, and you can have one way or another. Jesse Wade says, Aponte, back to this Warner subject. Fred is the GOAT. Fred's the best. And you know what, though? I thought the same thing about Patrick. Being a 49er fan, away from over there, I would have to argue with people all the time over here. Willis is the only one who actually could make the Pro Bowl every single year like that, like all pro, everything. Like I always had to argue with that. I would be the only one walking around with a Willis jersey, right? So I understand. I do think that if Fred puts together 1 or 2 more years like this, I don't think it's much of a discussion anymore. Now, we understand that things can happen in football. I'm not trying to say anything bad can happen, but that's the problem. Kevin says, do you do college? Thoughts on Coach Prime in Oregon? If you open up the betting on Monday's games, what are your picks? Let's take a look. I haven't even looked. I'll be honest with you, man. After I do the Thursday game, I had a good Thursday last week. It was Jalen Hurts anytime and Eagles money line. That seemed easy, even though it wasn't easy the entire game. But Jalen Hurts, came through for me. Coach Prime is probably the best example of why college football is awesome, and how having a person like that can change your program. They literally went from a 1-win team, 2-win team last year to being able to recruit. I'd play for fucking Deion Sanders. I would play for Deion Sanders. I would run through a wall for Deion. I don't know the spread, all that stuff. I think I stay away from the college football stuff because it's so unpredictable. So I stay away from that as well too. But as far as Monday's games, there's 2 games on Monday, right? There's 2 games on Monday again. And I don't understand why this is happening. But I'd have to take a look, and I'll probably put it out on Twitter and probably give some underdog picks. By the way, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Aponte, double your first deposit up to $500 now. Up to $500 just for this week only. It's a brand new promo. If you use my code, up to $500, you can double your first deposit. You can wager higher, lower. You can do best ball drafts, which we're all in, and you can do daily drafts for daily fantasy as well too. If you want to make sure that you have some skin in the game this weekend. My favorite bets almost every single weekend is Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown, Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, those type of things. So I'll probably put it out there. I've been pretty good with football. I don't make my money during baseball season. Thanks a lot, Houston Astros. I don't make money during baseball season. I only make it during football season. Because that's the only thing that I can really put a hand to. But I literally put a 5-team parlay in, and the Houston Astros were playing the Kansas City Royals, and the Kansas City Royals beat the living shit out of the Houston Astros. And the Kansas City Royals are a bottom feeding team. I don't understand baseball. I'll never understand it. But all right, that's probably my best bet to get out of here at this point, because now I'm upset about baseball for some stupid reason. That's not a real sport. But shout out to everybody that called in, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Thank you guys for supporting so much, man. The 49ers are 3-0. Your regime is here to stay for a long time. It's nice to have stability and $42 million in the bank that you can roll over. And a first-round pick. So a lot's looking good right now for the 49ers, man. You could be worse. You could be the Los Angeles Rams, and you could be a team that is trying to lie to themselves and say that they're ready to go. By the way, time to go. I'm going to leave on that note. Shout out to everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your football. Let's go Niners. Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.